Are you shutting down UGQ and you're starting a different company? What's the situation?
So it's created some confusion. So I'm glad we are talking about it because it'll help clear all of that confusion up.
Well,
So
and literally, you're talking to two guys who've helped put Joe Rogan on the map, and so you're
no, I
guaranteed
100%.
millions upon millions of people are going to hear this. So this is really going
Yeah.
to,
So I need to get this right.
yeah, exactly. Don't screw it up.
Also, shout out to Hilltop Packs for my sweet new Sun hoodie.
Oh heck yeah!
So UGQ limit. So to answer your first question or whatever question number it was, I don't remember. UGQ outdoor as it exists is not going anywhere. Going to stay the exact same. Our main platform is not going anywhere. So customers will still be able to order all of their same custom products. UGQ Limited was created for a handful of reasons. So the primary function of it is to allow us to get away from the deep discount or sale model that we've been kind of sucked into through the as a result of the pandemic. Pre-pandemic, most cottage companies typically only ran about one sale a year, sometimes two, and that was usually around Black Friday. As the pandemic, ramped up, a lot of companies weren't running a sale because we were so busy. There was no need to. And it wasn't until the pandemic started slowing down that the boom in the outdoor industry really started, having its ripple effect with all the big companies having too much inventory. So they're going steep discounts. And the problem is that trickles all the way down to the small cottage makers who the only way that we're competing with these companies that have this massive stockpile of inventory because they're going 50, 60, 70% off. And so we're seeing a massive dip in our order volume. And so the only way that we can compete with that is by running sales. And, after going through and looking at all of our numbers over the last couple of years, running upwards of almost 10 sales a year as a result of the ripple effect of the pandemic, I kind of basically just decided that I'm done running sales. I don't want to run sales anymore. And as a result, we've taken a direct hit to our bottom line for this year. In fact, we're actually down 50% from where we were last year in total revenue. But that was strategically planned. We knew that was going to happen. And it was all centered around the fact that, when you run a 20% off sale and you've only got 30% margins, that 10%, the only variable number in that margin is our labor, right? Down's fixed cost, materials are fixed cost, all the components are fixed cost. You might get some variance somewhere down the road, but for the most part, labor is our primary variable in the margin. So with only 10% left on the bone, we have to hit those numbers so specifically and so quickly that other things in the production line can start to get affected, such as quality, overall well-being. If I'm so stressed that I got to come out and pour that stress out on the team because we got to get these products out the door. And so, we can hit 100, 200, 300 quilt orders on a given sale, and then we get buried with orders with little to no margin for error. You make one quilt wrong and you've lost margin on potentially a couple quilts. So it created so much pressure on us internally that we ultimately decided that the only way that we can fight back is by taking control again. And one of the things that we've come to lean on is surges of cash, which is the primary function of a sale is you get higher volume. So you get that huge cash influx that's going to help not only fund those products and your labor costs, but potentially if you're carrying over labor costs from last week or whatever the case is, that number disappears really quick. So it's important to get those cash influxes into a business to help make it sustainable. So UGQ Limited is a platform that's going to allow us to control what that looks like. And so by taking the Alpha Direct, which was an innovative product, that we created, that we had initially intended on launching on our main platform, but doing it the way that we're doing it now not only opens up a lot of doors for
Now, I
us,
just
but it's
want
going
to, I
to open
want
up.
to, I want to clarify. You didn't create Alpha Direct. You're talking about the Alpha Direct quilt.
Sorry, yes.